Obviously the norm is that Jill starts these videos, but today it's just me and I'm not really showing up in person for the most part because I broke my glasses. So this is Jay, her husband. I also help run this channel. I have several channels of my own and I am a big fan of Dragon Ball. Love this franchise. So I wanted to talk about something that I thought was really cool that I have seen some people talk about, but I haven't seen as a widespread discussion topic, which is Dragon Ball collectibles, specifically the matchmakers line of figures, or I should say statues. I mean, if you can call them that. They're like statues in the sense of kind of like plastic statues. And in Japan, these are often treated as prizes in different machines or at arcades or things like that. In the United States, they're not quite as common because of this, but I think that these are really cool. They are pretty much all the same scale in a way where you can swap them out to essentially recreate fights of different characters with each other. I have 4 of them here. There are about at least 20 to 25 different ones made though, and I will be including those in our Amazon list, which if you do help support, that supports our channel. Basically, you go to it through our affiliate link in the description or comments. Anything you buy through that does actually go to help support us. It's not a sponsorship, but it's like a small commission-based thing. That said, that's down there. I do have a question of the day for you, which is, what do you think is the coolest, or what is your favorite anime or manga based collectible? There's a lot of great ones. Unfortunately, a lot of them do end up costing quite a bit, but one thing I will say about Dragon Ball is they do a very good job of making these affordable. Another thing I want to address really quick is that I made a video a ways back on this channel talking about Sailor Moon and how frustrating the collectible situation is around that to me. The difference is Dragon Ball actually still makes stories, and up until creator Akira Toriyama's death, it was something that was still going very strong and does still appear to be going strong going into the future, even though we lost such a creative genius who did so much for the world and for people's imaginations. So for me, I have no problem with collectibles and supporting a franchise when that franchise listens to its fans, wants to make them happy, and has stories to tell. My problem has always been with brands that just decide to stop, but milk it for merch. And that's kind of unfortunately where I feel like Sailor Moon has gone, for example. But with Dragon Ball, I really like these. Now, they're not very tall figures. I mean, in general, I didn't measure mine, so you might hear me clicking around a little bit. But if you look at one like the Gogeta, where he's actually fighting from one of the movies, that one is about 6.7 inches tall. I don't have that one. Or for example, if you look at the Broly one, which I am going to show off, where he's kind of powered up, that one's a little over 7 inches tall. So these are not a tiny figure by any means, but they're also not huge, which means that you can actually set them up, multiple of them on a shelf, and have room for plenty of them. And in general, they're pretty cheap. Looking on Amazon at some of the ones I'm adding to our list, they can range anywhere from $20 US to 40 to 50, depending on if they're like a lesser known one or maybe one that's a little older. Like I know Android 18, that one goes for a little bit more than the average. But in general, these are very affordable figures, and obviously they're even cheaper than this in Japan. So I think the best thing about these is that they are essentially, and it's probably not perfect, but they're in the same general scale as each other. So what does that mean? Well, when it comes to scale, when you look at different scales, let's say that you have something that is half the size of a normal human being or its object, right? That would be 50% of the size. So that would be a huge statue, right? Like if you got a statue that is a half scale type statue, that would be huge, right? That wouldn't make any sense to put next to one that was a 16th of the size, would it? Or one that was a 32nd of the size. You get what I'm saying? Like when you could scale into things and you're going for the same series, a lot of times it's kind of frustrating for collectors where things are made at different scales, so those figures don't match each other. And it's actually one way that they sell figures is that they change the scale up so that you will buy a different line. And they don't want you to just buy one character from that line. Like they don't want you to just buy Goku from one line and then buy Gohan from another line, because then you're like, well, why is Gohan 2/3 the size of Goku? Or why is he, 2/3 bigger? They look silly next to each other. So that's something that I think a lot of these toy companies and entertainment companies do to try and get you to buy more things. And what's so cool about the matchmakers is the idea that it's literally about matches, like it's about fighting matches. So you have characters in iconic poses from the anime, the movies, other things like that. And then what you can do is swap them out for other ones. Like, oh man, you know, we got Goku here next to Oob from the original Dragon Ball Z final. What would it look like if Oob went up against Broly? That kind of idea. Now, obviously, when it comes down to it, there's some power scaling things for Dragon Ball fans that I'm sure would piss them off. Like, for example, if I put Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta up against original King Piccolo, I think people are going to look at that and be like, yeah, King Piccolo is dead. But, you know, in general, it's a really cool idea. Even being able to swap in characters like Frieza, Child Goku, versions of characters from Dragon Ball GT like Super 17, or, you know, young Goku with the Super Saiyan hair, things like that. It's like you can swap these different versions of characters in for each other to see what would happen. What would happen if Frieza fought against Majin Vegeta? What would happen if you had Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks and he went up against normal Super Saiyan Broly? You know, these are different matchups and kind of like dream matches that I think the video games take a big advantage of, and a lot of different, you know, fans talk about online, but you don't see any collectibles based around the what if fighting scenarios. This is, you know, this is very clearly based around that kind of idea of what if your favorite character went up against your other favorite character. It doesn't necessarily need to be just the scene from the film or the anime episode or anything like that, but if you want to recreate a scene that is iconic, you can do so. You can have Goku from the finale of Z fighting against Oob and the two going at it, and that's something you can recreate with these as well. So I think they're really cool. That said, are they perfect? No, I mean, the thing that really bothers me about them is some of the stands. The way that they show them online and the way they market them is in almost all promotional material, they don't show the stand. I mean, there are some versions that do, but generally they will Photoshop out the stand and show the fighters standing there, or I should say floating there, maybe in action. But like a clip I'm gonna show here, or might have shown earlier, depending on how Jill edits this, there are issues with those stands. Like, for example, the Broly one, it didn't really fit him. And so it ends up being this huge stand that actually causes some stress marks sometimes on the figure's leg or another place where it goes in if it wasn't cut correctly. So one thing that sucks about this, though, even though I love these figures, and sorry for the audio quality, we don't have the mic here, but if you look here, there are stress marks actually on where the peg goes in.
Show putting it in.
And it's like, we're show putting it in, oh my. Yeah. And that's not the kind of channel we're doing.
Oh, it is now.
And if you look, like when, it's like they didn't make it big enough, and you can see that the stress marks kind of become pronounced when you do it.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like they didn't cut this big enough for the actual stand.
No, it doesn't look like they did. And then once you have it in, it just feels like it's gonna fall, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of does, but this is how it is.
Doesn't it feel like it's gonna fall, though?
A little bit. I mean, once it's in, it's fine, as long as, especially if you want to, like, show it at an angle. But I think a big problem I have with it is that in order to see his body well, you almost have to show it, like, on this side.
I also think it's stupid that there's just a big black bar coming out of him.
Yeah, like, you have to show it on this side, and I feel like if they wanted to, if they had put this, like, in his back or over here or something...
And made it look like green power or something?
It would, yeah, it would have stood out way less.
Yeah. It's kind of a shame. I just wish they'd built it into the figure, kind of like the Morgan figure that we have, where like her stand is built into her.
It's because a lot of these are considered prize figures, which is like in Japan, you will like win these in a claw machine or something, or you'll get them from an arcade. Not right in my face. And so I think sometimes they don't put absolute effort into it, which is too bad, because if you look at the figure sculpt, it's really good. Like the figure sculpt himself is great. It's just this makes it kind of distracting. Because you have to remember, these are not handcrafted things. To my understanding, they are printed figures. Like they're mass produced in Japan. It's just they're not super common to see in America. So like I said, if you're interested in these, they will be in our Amazon affiliate link. I'm interested to hear what you think down below. I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts on, you know, your favorite collectibles. There's a couple more of these I definitely want to get. Like there's one of Cooler from the Cooler movies, which I think it's cool they're even doing movie characters, and some GT. I'm kind of hoping they do a little bit with Daima, but we will see. So let me know your thoughts down there. If you want to support our channel, we have a Fortnite code, and we also have our own store, cosmobunny.shop, where we sell our own one-of-a-kind items. These are coasters, keychains, trays, and more, made out of resin from recycled paper, from comics, manga, magazines, and more books that are unable to be sold in stores because they're damaged. We take those books, we take that paper, we save that art type of piece, or like that paper, and we transform it into a new medium, into something new. It kind of was supposed to be the whole point of fair use. You take something and turn it into something new for the world, and that's what we do with that stuff. We don't print images, we don't, do anything like that. What we do is we take paper that exists, turn it into new things, and then actually make sure the rest ends up in the recycling instead of in landfills. So I hope you'll check that out and enjoy it. Discount code SAILOR will get you 10% off your first purchase over there, and it goes to help support us a lot, and we appreciate it. So have a fantastic day, and as always, everyone, we'll see you in the next video. Bye!